Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unit 8. We are doing area for a bunch of different shapes. So today we're going to start with some basic ones of parallelograms and triangles, which are nice and simple formulas. We are going to include in a few of our trig functions or 30, 60, 90 triangles that we've talked about in the last couple of units. So let's go ahead and start with area of parallelogram. So the area actually is just base times height, just like a rectangle, which is really simple because if we take this rectangle here and I was to cut that off and slide it down, it's actually going to fill in that space and make a rectangle. So I'm just going to get rid of those. Here is our height. Our height is perpendicular to the base. Our height sometimes is given to us outside of the triangle, or I mean outside of the parallelogram. And then our base is that entire distance either on the bottom or on the top. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into some examples here. We have, given our base, we have our height, and we have our base for this. Now notice we have two different lengths. We have 4 and we have 10. So the 10 is going to be considered our base when we talk about area because that is what our height is perpendicular to. We also have the 4 because we are finding perimeter. So the parallel sides are also 4 and 10. So for perimeter, you're going to go ahead and add your 10 plus 4 plus 10 plus 4. Some of you might have said 2 times 10 plus 2 times 4. Both of those work. So we have a perimeter of 28. And then for our area, we're going to take our height, which is 5, and times it by our base 10. Because remember, that's what's perpendicular. So we get an area of 50. All right, so let's go ahead and look here. We have find the perimeter in the area again. So I'm going to start off with perimeter. This is another 17, and this is 21 here. So go ahead and take your 21 plus 17 plus 17 plus 21, or times this by 2. We get 76 for our perimeter. Now notice we are missing our height here. But we have our right triangle with a base and hypotenuse. So we can use Pythagorean theorem to help us find our height. So we have talked about shortcut typing this into your calculator by taking the square root of 17 squared minus 8 squared. And we can do that because we have the h on that one side. So my height ends up being 15. So go ahead and take your 15, your height, times your base, which is the entire 21. So 15 times 21. And we end up with it being 315. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and pause the video here and see if you can find my area and my perimeter for this. To find your perimeter, you will need to find this hypotenuse here. So use your Pythagorean theorem. So pause the video here. All right, there you have it with some work for you. Let me know if you have questions on this. All right, so now we're going to jump to some problem using special right triangles. Notice we have a 45 down there, so then the top is also 45. So we are going to use 45, 45, 90 to help us with our height. So my diagonal, or my hypotenuse, is 9. So remember, this is the leg times the square root of 2. So we're going to go ahead and divide both sides by square root of 2. And then we have to times the top and the bottom by square root of 2. 9 square root of 2 divided by 2, or you can say 4.5 square root of 2. I will take either one of those. Okay, so to find the area, we're going to take the base and the height and multiply them. So 4.5 square root of 2 times 12. So when you're multiplying these, we are only going to multiply the number outside of my square root. The 2 stays underneath the radical. 54 square root of 2. All right. Then we have this one. Ooh, this one's a 30, 60, 90 triangle. But the really nice thing with this one is that we are given our short leg. So to find our long leg, that is my short leg times the square root of 3. So my height is going to be 12 square root of 3. So I'm going to take my base times my height. Again, just multiply your numbers in front, the one that's in front of the radical. So 32 times 12 gives us 384 times the square root of 3. So you may have thought that those would have gone away, but they didn't. Okay, so here we have area of a triangle on the top of the back of your notes. So we know area of a triangle. We have talked about it as 1/2 base times height, or base times height divide by 2. So remember, again, your height is what is perpendicular to a base. Your base is not always necessarily the side that my triangle is sitting on. It's the one that is perpendicular to the height. So if we look here, my height is outside of my triangle. So my 30 is my height, and that makes 19 my base. Now they give us the 27 because we need to find this length here to do perimeter. So because this is a right triangle outside, so we're going to do 27 squared plus 30 squared equals our x squared. So go ahead and find that x. We are getting us a decimal with this one for the 27 and the 30. So we're going to say 40 point, and it's 0.36. So we're going to round it to 0.4. All right. So I'm going to take this 40.4 and I'm going to add it to 41 and 19 to get a perimeter of 100.4. So for my area, base times height, so base is 19. My height we said was that 30, and then divide by 2 or times by half, same thing. And we get 284. Oops, I made a mistake. That should be 285. All right, let's do this here. If you're listening, you're going to hear that that's 285. So tomorrow, your notes are going to get checked, and you're going to have to make sure that you have a 285 there, not a 284. Okay? All right, so find the perimeter and area of this. Ooh, that should say triangle. All right, so if we look here, we are given our base, but we are missing our height. So we're going to do that handy dandy Pythagorean theorem. 6 squared plus h squared equals 13 squared. Remember, you can use your shortcut in your when you type it into your calculator. Okay, and we're going to have a decimal 11.53, so we're going to call that 11.5. Okay, so, oh goodness, you guys were missing another length. So we need to find this length, again, using Pythagorean theorem. So we are going to use our rounded 11.5 for this. Some may want to use the square root of whatever the 13 squared minus 6 squared was. That's okay. It's going to get you back to 133 under your radical. So then that'll turn into 133, whereas 11.5 squared is going to give you, 11.5 squared is going to give you 132.25. So we're just a difference between, like 0.75 there. All right, so we're going to take the square root of that. All right, so we find x equal 31.2. If you use 133 in there, Let's see if we get the same rounding. You do. You get a little 31.2. So it doesn't matter which one. We're going to end up with the same rounding. All right, so perimeter 11.5 plus 31.2 plus 29. We get ourselves a 71.7. For the area, we're going to take 29 times 11.5. Don't forget to divide it by 2. We get 166.75. All right, you need to buy enough boards to make a frame for this triangular sandbox shown and enough sand to fill it. If one board is 3 feet long and one bag of sand fills 9 square feet of the sandbox, how many boards and bags do you need to buy? So let's go ahead and start with perimeter. So 12 plus 16 plus 7.5. So if we add those all up, we're going to get a perimeter of 35.5. But each board is 3 feet long. So we're going to divide that by 3 and 11.8. So we need 12 boards because we're not just going to buy 0.83 repeating of a board. All right, so area, we're going to take base 12 times our height of 9 and divide by 2. So we should get 54 square feet. But one bag of sand fills 9 square feet. So we're going to go ahead and divide that by 9. So we should have 6 bags. All right. Ooh, find the value of x. Ooh, I see x. There it is. Ha 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 ha. Right? No, not funny? Oh, bummer. Okay. So this time I'm giving you the area and you need to find me x. So with the parallelogram, don't forget area is base times height. So my area is 148 equals my base times my height. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my 148 and divide by 8, and I get 18.5. All right, so we have here, find the value of x. It's with the triangle. Area is base times height, divide by 2. So 357 equals my base, 34, times my height, divide by 2. So I'm going to start off with timesing both sides by 2. So we get 714 equals 34h. So take your 714 and divide by 34. And my height is 21. All right, so we have one more problem here. You get the base of the parallelogram is twice its height. Ooh, you know what? There's the bell. We're going to have to do this one together. See you guys.